Okay, so Chapter 9, merchandising business for a corporation. We buy a product, we turn around and sell it. When we buy a product, we're going to be affecting the account called purchases. Purchases is a cost account and it has a debit normal balance. This is all new things within Chapter 9. Yesterday we learned about a special journal called a purchases journal. The only transaction that goes in a purchases journal is when we buy merchandise on an account. Okay? There are 5 journals that we are going to be using within chapters 9 and 10 moving forward. So before the first question you would ask yourself would be what accounts are being affected, and that would be how you do your journalizing. Now the first question you have to ask yourself is what journal do I put it in? Then what counts are being affected. Now it's really easy to identify which ones go in your purchases journal, because the only ones that go in your purchases journal is going to be anything with the purchase invoice. So the source document would be P and then a number. And I like the purchases journal because there's only one column there for numbers. So you don't have to guess what column it goes in. It always goes in the same column. So after we journalize things to put things in a journal, then we have to go through and post it. And so when we post, we have to take that information and put it into our ledger. Recall back to section 9-1, we have something now called a subsidiary ledger. A subsidiary ledger is a set of accounts set aside specific for accounts payable. So my subsidiary ledger for accounts payable, they're going to have a 3-digit account number, and then the ledger actually looks different because it's only going to have a credit balance column, not a debit and a credit balance column. So we're going to take a look within section 9-3 on how to post from a purchases journal. So on the very top is the purchases journal that I was just talking about, how it has one column for numbers. And on the bottom is going to be my subsidiary ledger. Again, it looks very similar. Instead of account title, it says vendor. Instead of account number, it says vendor number. But I'll give you a clue. If account number starts with a 2, you know it has to be a liability. Okay. Moving across, we have our date. Notice here instead of it saying item, it says account credited. We have a post reference, debit, credit. And notice there's only a credit column because there would not be a reason. If I, for FBLA, bought something from Don's on an account, I need to pay Don's. The only way my balance is going to stay forward is going to be if I owe something to them, and that's going to be a credit balance. Don's is never going to have to pay me. Now, the flip is going to be true when we deal with our accounts receivable. It's going to say customer and customer number, and there'll be 1, and there'll only be a debit column balance. So basically what we have to do is we have to first put our date from our purchases journal. Then we're going to go ahead and put in our post reference. And we're going to use the letter P and then 11. Because I can't just use 11 because 11 doesn't tell me which journal it came from. Because I could have an 11 from my cash payments journal, cash receipts journal, my sales journal. So I have to go ahead and take the first letter of my journal and put it with my page numbers to give me a P11. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the amount, $1,082.50, and you will notice right here it says account credited, Win Lighting. Win Lighting. So I'm going to put it right here as a credit. Previously it had a balance of $2,544, and I'm crediting it now another amount. I'm going to add those 2 credits together, and we're going to have a new balance there for Win Lighting of $3,626.50. This part isn't new. The only thing that's new for this section is how do we deal with a subsidiary ledger and how a subsidiary ledger is different. We take that account number 260, and that's going to go back up on our post reference. That's always the last step to get me back to my journal. Now, you're going to find that our subsidiary ledger is going to have a 3-digit account number, and our general ledger accounts are going to have a 4-digit account number. So here's an example of purchases journal that we went through and recorded all transactions. I want you to notice how we have sequential items of purchase numbers, no numbers missing in between them. Okay. At the end of the month, I'm going to post the total. My total for my purchases journal is $21,587.17. I have to post that total to 2 accounts. Those two accounts are right here, purchases and accounts payable. Because we know when we do accounting, we have to affect a debit and a credit. In our purchases journal, we're affecting our debit and credit for exactly the same amount. So instead of us writing that number in two spots for two different columns that we can just lump together, we put a heading at the top to say purchases debit and accounts payable credit. So I'm going to take that $21,587.17 and I'm going to go to my general ledger. So I post individually, line by line, that Win Lighting to my subsidiary ledger account where it says Win Lighting. I post my totals to my general ledger where I'm going to find the account title of purchases debit. In order to do that, I need to make sure that I single and double rule because that shows that we did math. Single rule is going to go right here to say, hey, we did math, 21,587, double rule. Now this is my general rule of thumb that you need to do. It's really easy to add that number up once and be like, yep, okay, my debits and credits equal because you don't really have another number to equal it with. I make sure I add it up twice. If I add it up twice and I got the same number twice, the likelihood of me putting in the numbers in the calculator correct are going to be fine. And then I can go ahead and get my double rule below it. You notice that the date is going to be the same thing that we did with our other journals. We put the last day of the month. So in this case, we're in November, and there are 30 days in November. Don't forget our knuckle rule that we used. Start on the knuckle, January, February, in between. You're going to put the word total, not S. Why? It's just one number. So because it's only one number, we're just going to put the word total. Add it up, and then double rule down below it. Okay, so always remember we're going to total our journals at the end of the month. So this is going to be how we're going to post it. Now take a look at, this is our new account called purchases. This is my general ledger. I can tell this is a general ledger because it has two balance columns. Your subsidiary ledger will always only have one balance column. Purchases has an account number of 5. So that means expenses are now going to have an account number starting with 6. My account right here called accounts payable is what is called my controlling account. It is a summary of what I owe all people. And that's important for a business. At any given point, a business should be able to look at their accounts payable, and say, hey, I owe $17,000 to all of my vendors. Previously, we did not have an easy way to do that, and that's okay because we were doing a small business. But now since we have a big business, I can see on November 30th that this business owes all vendors $26,656.17. That's important information. I still need to know if each one of you are a vendor, how much I owe each one of you individually, and I find that out by looking in my subsidiary ledger account. I would look at Ethan and I say, okay, I owe Ethan $2,000. I owe Tanner $10,000. Morgan, I paid you off. I don't owe you anything. So you would all be considered the individual subsidiary ledger and then the controlling account here. This is the biggest piece that students get confused on within this chapter, is understanding how we have this controlling account and subsidiary ledger. So we put our dates on there. We put in our P11 saying that we're posting it from a purchase journal 11. We take our amount, the $21,000. It's going to go under purchases as a debit because it says right there, purchases DR, accounts payable credit. So there's a debit, here's a credit, and then you've got to do your math. Purchases has a debit normal balance, so you'll add it to it. Accounts payable has a credit normal balance, you'll add it to it. Last thing to do is your account numbers. Now, this is a big thing. We posted it to 2 accounts. So there has to be 2 account numbers up here. So what I need to do is I need to put each account number in parentheses. If I don't put it in parentheses, it looks like a value of 5110210. Like, is that an amount that we owe somebody? So putting it in parentheses indicates, hey, I've posted this. That's section 9-3. Ready to try it? Let's do it. Told you it was shorter. So here we have work together 9-3. So the very first thing that they're having us do is we're going to go through and total our purchases journal. So when we total, the first thing we have to do is start on the left-hand side and move across. How many days are in October? 31, thank you. So what do I put under accounts credited? Total, not totals, because there's only one number. Now I have to break out my handy dandy calculator. Now, have I talked to you about the calculators on our Windows 10 computers yet? Okay, look up here, please. I want to show you this. This is a time saver. These calculators will stay on top no matter what. All you have to do is click right here, keep on top, and then no matter what you do, it'll always stay there and it won't disappear and you don't have to resize. So I can use my calculator, 3,252 plus 532 plus 866, and that gives me 4,920. So docking that calculator in the upper right-hand corner is a good idea. Did I do something wrong with math? Oh, 5,600. Well, okay. Let me try it again, because one of the things I said is I always go through and add it up twice to make sure. 4,650. Let me add her again. Because it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, it's really fast, and then realize you make a mistake, and then you'll have problems later with everything not equaling. Can't believe that though, right? I typed it in wrong now, but I do have 4,650. Okay, so that's the first step, is to go through and prove, or excuse me, total. Woo-woo, got that one right. Now, next step is to post. And we're going to post individually. So I'm going to start on line 1 of my purchases journal, which says October 2nd, Pacific Supply, purchase invoice 162 for $3,252. I'm going to expand on the bottom, Pacific Supply. I'm going to put in the date of the 2nd. Post reference is going to be P10, because I'm posting from Purchases Journal 10. And I am going to credit Pacific Design $3,252. How do I know I'm crediting it? Besides, I just said it. Say it again. It's in the credit column. What else? What does it say right above it? Right here on my purchases journal, it really says accounts credited. So anything below here must be credited. So we're trying to put it bold. I'm having problems adding today, so I'm double checking my math. I got $4,177.65. Anyone agree? Disagree? Looks like Ethan got the same number in his calculator, right? So the last step I have to do, after I got my credit balance, I'm going to take account number 230, and it goes back up here on line 1. Because that means I took this amount, I posted it in Pacific Supply, and then I can go to line 2, and I can do the same thing for Coastal Supply. Oh, Coastal Company, excuse me. Date is the 7th. Post reference is P10, because I'm using Purchase Journal number 10, and I'm crediting it 532. Calculator stays on top. Nice new features of our Windows 10 computers. So I have a new balance of $2,230.88. I am adding to what the previous balance is. Last step I do is go through and take my account number and put it back up on top. So I put 210 on line 2. Now I'm doing line 3, Yeatman Designs. That's a fun one to say. Date is going to be the 11th. Nothing goes in the item column. P10 goes in my post reference. We're going to credit Yeatman Designs $866. It previously had a balance of $877 plus $866, so its new balance is $1,743. I take account number 250, goes back up on top. So when I post individually from my purchases journal, I start at the top and I work my way down. So we can assume that we have all of them posted individually. So I'm going to click on grade step 2. I got everything done correctly on that one. That's very exciting. I'm going to go to step 3 then. Now, step 3 is going through and posting our totals. We already posted individually, so I'm going to the heading right here of my column where it says purchases debit, accounts payable credit. I need to post $4,650. It doesn't really matter which one you post first, but I'm going to post my debit first because that one is listed. So purchases is a cost account. It has a debit normal balance. I'm going to put the date in there, the 31st. Post reference is P10. And I'm posting as a debit to purchases $4,650. It previously had a balance of $89,478.25, so I have to add that $4,650 to it. So my new balance is $94,128.25. Are you notice how we have change now also in our happy accounting land? So watch out for that. Don't miss our change. I'm going to put in parentheses 5,110. It's not, oh, it didn't want me to type in parentheses. So don't type in the parentheses, it'll put it in there for you. Then I'm going to post to my controlling account, the account accounts payable, the same amount, date of the 31st, P10. It's being credited, $4,650. Had a previous balance of $6,133.53. Add to it. New balance now is $10,783.53. And again, below those totals, I have 2 numbers in parentheses, and it automatically put it in parentheses, but to indicate that I posted to both my purchases account and my accounts payable account. Then I can click on grade final step. Whoop, whoop. Got it all right. I got an 8 out of 8 on this one. Go ahead and try that on your own.